Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to another glorious episode of the Put On Raiders podcast. I am your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Ryan Holmes, and we are podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. RTPOW podcast is my Twitter handle, and I forgot yours because I didn't.
Our home 22.
I was flowing for a second. I forgot yours.
Yeah.
And we're talking Raiders, talking NFL draft, and talking NFL. Some of these receivers just want to get paid. And, it started with, the dominoes that have fallen ever since Devontae Adams, or actually since Christian Kirk signed his ridiculous deal with think about it for a second. The Jaguars, right? They just were patient. They could have got a huge wide receiver in this.
They got Zay Jones though.
They pay Zay Jones. They pay Christian Kirk. I mean, it's just funny how they like blew everything so early. It was crazy. Rate, review, and subscribe on all the different platforms, podcast and on YouTube. We appreciate all that. We definitely appreciate all that stuff there. Our goal is to get to that G. So let's keep that going. So Deebo doesn't want to be a Niner anymore. He's being kind of quiet about like why he doesn't want to be a Niner anymore. Do you? Because people are going to say, Dwayne, you hate Shanahan, so whatever. But I'll say this. So, do you think that this is about him playing running back, and he doesn't want to play running back anymore? And Shanahan kind of said, if we need you a running back, we'll put you there. But what are your thoughts about him? It sounds like one of the biggest sticking points was that he doesn't want to be in the backfield at all anymore.
I would say it's 100% about that. Think about the career longevity of the two positions and where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to get paid if he's a running back. He can go be a wide receiver and get $20 to $25 million a year. If he's a running back and he gets beat up for the next 2 or 3 years, who knows what kind of money he's going to get. It's 100% about them using him at multiple positions, which helps their team. But for him in the long run in his career, he's way better being a wide receiver as far as getting paid. And at this point, it's about the money. He wants to get paid.
Yeah. And the Shanahans are known. I'm not sure why they could have clearly said, hey, we'll never use you there again. We'll just make you a wide receiver, because aren't they known for getting the late round draft picks at running back, him and his father? They don't spend high draft picks on running backs, and they're able to just get one of those guys, late in the rounds and make him a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to Orlando Scary, Mike Anderson, the running backs, Terrell Davis, the guys they had in Denver, and then coming to San Francisco, Mostert, Jeff Wilson. Like they just get running backs and plug them in that system. But if I was Deebo Samuel, I'd be doing the same thing. Like, at this point, it seems like we're past the money. One, I don't think they want to pay him the $20-25 million a year, and he doesn't want to be running the ball as much as he did either, because he knows his value long term as far as the contract is as a pure wide receiver. So he probably just wants to play in the slot and catch those quick passes and break tackles and score touchdowns.
Yeah, easy. I mean, and then he can. And then as soon as this happened, I listened to sports radio in San Francisco when they were talking about, did Shanahan make Deebo, or did Deebo make Shanahan, and then going through all that stuff. I mean, I think his value in these playoffs pretty much showed how good he was. I mean, he was fantastic in these playoffs. Like he was incredible. And some of these playoffs, they didn't score a lot of points, but he was an integral part of all the points they scored. So I'm not, it's just, I know it's the wide receiver position. That people feel like they can step in and, but if they get one of those picks from the Jets, is that guy going to be, kind of have that impact, especially with the quarterback situation? We don't know Trey Lance, the guy has to play. Jimmy G's still going to be there for the most part, unless somebody gets hurt in training camp. So we'll have to see what happens out there. And I guess Terry, Scary Terry, and also AJ Brown. I don't know about new deals, but I mean they're on the horizon as well. They did not report to minicamp, and there's no way that and they basically said they're not going to. So that position you gotta pay. You gotta pay. You want to keep them.
Yeah, we talked about the fifth-year option on quarterbacks being a big deal. I think as we move forward, you're going to start to hear about the fifth-year option on wide receivers is a big deal. With the number they're getting taken, where the market went is free agents. Getting that extra year of control and not having to pay these guys after their third year on a 4-year deal. Because all these guys we're talking about weren't first-round picks. They were on 4-year deals that went in the second. Brown went in the second. Deebo Samuel went in the second. Terry went in the third.
Yep.
So you take one of those guys and they're good their first 2 or 3 years out, they all want the money right away. And the market's going to be $30 million 4 or 5 years from now. So I think you're going to start to see, and we'll see as we do our mock draft tonight, how many wide receivers. I have 8 names written down that have a chance in the first round. And I think teams are going to take them because, one, it's cheaper. It's a cost-controlled asset. You need them. The 49ers need Samuel. If they're going to play Trey Lance, they have to have Deebo Samuel be a weapon for him. Getting rid of Deebo Samuel makes no sense. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next 5 years with that wide receiver position.
Yeah, at least let's for the Raiders. Let's sign 13 real quick before it gets kind of out of hand. That's fine. Let's sign 13 quick before it gets out of hand. All right, so NFL draft coming up next week. I just did a podcast with Phil Robinson, who will be media credentialed at the draft. He's going out there. I'm going out there to do the draft there for his writing and everything like that. So that should be fun for him. We'll start the draft. So how we're going to do it is it's head to head, not head to head, but in some ways head to head, because we're going to alternate picks. So we'll see how that goes as far as that goes. I'm using the Draft Network little mock draft thing, so to kind of keep track of it. And then I'm sure we have all our notes ready to go. So let's get started. I guess I'm on the clock, if you will, with Jacksonville's pick. Who knows what's going to happen there? I am. Let's see. So I'm going to roll with. I'm not sure why this is doing this now. Available players. That's where I am. Available players. Okay. I'm going to go with Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker, edge. So Trayvon Walker is going to be the first pick. You're on the clock for the Fighting Dan Campbells.
Yeah, just for everyone out there, we haven't rehearsed this, so I have no idea who he's taking. So I literally have a sheet and I'm crossing them off. So this could turn any one way. So I'm interested to see where the quarterbacks go. With Detroit at number 2, with Walker off the board, I think this is easy. I think they turn the current. They take Aiden Hutchinson, the local guy out of Michigan. I think they'd like a quarterback here, but I think if Hutchinson's on the board, they take him at 2.
All right, so 2. So this with the Deebo Samuel situation, 3 could change. But I think for the I'm sorry, I was looking at the Jets. It's the Titans. So Titans are gonna for me, they're gonna take the best player available. They like their quarterback. So he's good there. I'm gonna go with Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon. So Kayvon Thibodeau is off the board here. Let's share a little screen here. Let's see if people see the action here. Go ahead, and you have the Jets. The Jets on the board here. So where are we going?
So it's interesting that the 3 edge come off. I think that they need to address the offensive and defensive lines. I think they might surprise some people here. I'm going to give them the North Carolina State offensive tackle, Akim Ekwonu. I think he could play right tackle, left tackle. He can play inside. I know they have Mekhi Becton. I know they took Barrett Tucker last year, but Becton's been hurt a lot, and they need to protect Zach Wilson. So I think they take the offensive tackle at North Carolina State.
Ooh, and then we have, so let's go to the picks. So Hutchinson, so we got Walker, Hutchinson, Thibodeau, and Ekwonu off the board now. So let's see here. So for the players, I'm gonna go the Giants. The Giants can go a whole lot of different ways here. I think that just because they need to just hit the pick, and they need to have somebody there. I think they're going to go with Evan Neal. Get an offensive tackle, whether it's no matter who it is at quarterback, they're going to need a tackle. So we'll see how that goes in New York, but I feel like that's going to be the pick. Or did I screw that up again? Did I screw that up again? With the 5? With the 5th pick,
yeah,
I had the
no,
no,
you got it.
I got it. Okay,
You got it.
Yeah, go ahead. And
This
the
is
next
where
one,
it gets interesting at 6. Carolina, I think they need to take a quarterback here. It's going to come down to Willis or Pickett. I think, having Sam Darnold still on the roster, is Pickett a huge upgrade in practice if Sam Darnold's out there and they're throwing the football around? I don't think so. I think they need a guy that can come in there and be a difference maker. It's probably not ideal for the coaching staff because I don't know if Malik Willis is ready, but I think long-term he has the biggest upside. So I'm going to give Malik Willis, the quarterback, to the Carolina Panthers here at 6.
Malik Willis, who will probably not be coached by that head coach for very long, but we'll have to see what happens there. So the Giants are back on the clock, and a player who I really like, and I know I Sauce Gardner, but I'm going to go with Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame. I kind of solidify what they want to do defensively, and they got a tackle, and they got a defender here, and then Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, it's a good pick. He's a good football player. I like that one. We're going to go pick up 8, going to the Falcons now.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. They have Marcus Mariota. I think they would have liked Willis here. Clearly, he's off the board. They have Mariota, Arthur Smith. They're running the system they brought over from Tennessee. I think that can shock some people. I'm going to give them Desmond Ridder. I'm going to give them quarterback Desmond Ridder.
I got to go find him now.
I think he's going to go a little bit higher than people think. I think he fits the system they have there more so than Kenny Pickett. And I think he's got a big upside. He has talent. He can sit behind Marcus Mariota, and I think Mariota is a good guy to have around him. So I'm going to surprise some people there with the Desmond Ridder pick.
Desmond Ridder in the building. Okay, cool. I like that one.
We can't just go straight down the line and go straight edge.
No, I mean, they'll be surprises next week anyway. So the Seahawks, right?
Yep.
I'm doing so. So Seahawks are on the board here. Let's see here. I think if Sauce Gardner is here, it kind of just makes sense to have him go to Seattle. He likes those long corners. He likes those guys, with that build, that Richard Sherman type build. So I'll have Sauce Gardner be a cornerback here for the Seahawks.
That's a great pick. He's the best player available at that point. I think Seattle, if these quarterbacks, if Willis and Ridder, I don't know if Pickett's a huge upgrade for them. I could definitely see them going best player available there. So that gives us the number 10. We have the Jets. We gave them, obviously, the offensive tackle at 4. I think now they go to the other side. They address the defensive line. They need a pass rusher. I'm going to give them Jermaine Johnson, the defensive end out of Florida State.
I like him a lot. Washington Commanders, they have, a lot going on, to say the least, as far as that goes, with everything going on with their team. I am going to go, and I don't want to see this happen because I don't wish this on Drake London. But I'm gonna go Drake London here. I think Terry is raising some eyebrows about contract. Why not just go ahead and just give him Drake London here, and then we'll see what happens as far as that goes.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I think he fits what they want to do there. Get another weapon for Carson Wentz. Get another receiver opposite McLaren. You don't know long term how long McLaren's going to be there. Can they afford to keep him? So that's definitely a good pick. And you start to think, like, who's the quarterback? Who are we going to surround him with? And then how are we going to cover these guys? And we roll to Minnesota, and I think they go right to find someone that can cover some of these wide receivers. I think they take Derek Stingley Jr. out of LSU and put him back out there with Patrick Peterson.
So what did we have for the Texans the first time? So the Texans, we had an edge. So
Thibodeau, right?
Thibodeau for that one. And then let's see here. We both like Charles Cross. Why not help that? They signed. I was gonna maybe go wide receiver, but they did sign Brandon Cooks They kept him out. I thought they would trade him. So let's go best player available. Let's go Charles Cross, offensive tackle.
Takes us to Baltimore at 14. I think they want to address the edge of that defense. I'm looking at my list here. I don't see the standout edge left on the board at this point in the draft. They could use a corner. I don't really see a corner I like here. I think they just go old school Baltimore Ravens here. They surprise some people. They take the big man in the middle. I'm going to give them Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle out of Georgia.
And while we don't like Davis, I think he works there. I think he work.
Fits their system.
Fits their system. Yeah. The Eagles, who trade up for this moment here, they have a lot of different ways they could go. They kind of came on last year. I think after the Raiders blew them out, they played great football after that and made the playoffs. So I mean, you have a rookie quarterback or a young quarterback who makes the playoffs. I like that. Just, I don't know how long he's gonna be here. So I'm gonna go Jameson Williams. I think that they can wait for him to, that division is not great. They can wait for him to get back in the fold as far as his injury. So I think he's an Eagle as far as that goes. The best player available right there.
Yeah, it takes us to 16, New Orleans. They're in an interesting spot. I think they could use a wide receiver. Obviously, they can use an offensive lineman. They lost Teron Armstead. They probably would have loved Cross to follow them here. I think they go the other route, though. I'm going to give them Kenny Pickett, the quarterback out of Pitt. I think he fits into that system they have over there. He can sit behind Jameson Winston. I think that'd be a good pickup for the New Orleans Saints to get a quarterback in the fold there. So let's give them Kenny Pickett.
So Chargers, don't do what I'm telling you to do in this draft. Just don't do it. Don't do it. I don't want you to do it. You look at their wide receiver core, and it's pretty much possession guy, right? So what they're really missing is a guy who can just go get it down the field. So do they do that? Do they try to stop the run? I'm going to say that the defensive head coach who saw everybody and their grandmother run the football on the Chargers last year, they were horrible against the run. Devontae Wyatt from Georgia, interior, try to stop the run there because they need it badly. If they don't stop the run, it's going to be a long season again for them, regardless of what they made with Khalil Mack. But you put them on that line with Khalil Mack and Bosa, they should be pretty formidable.
So you just picked my pocket. We're at 18 with the Eagles. I was going to give them Wyatt. The Eagles, obviously, you gave them Jameson Williams with the first pick. So I think they need to address the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think they go Devin Lloyd, the linebacker out of Utah here to fill a need on the defense.
Devin Lloyd, who can play. I love that dude. So Devin Lloyd. So we're back to the Saints. So did Malcolm Jenkins retire?
That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't know if he retired or not.
We did give them a rookie quarterback, so they need to fill around
quarterback. Give them a rookie quarterback, and I'm thinking about their wide receiver core. Maybe they lost the offensive lineman. So let's go Trevor Penning. Give him some offensive line work here. This kind of feels like the draft for real because like you're thinking about a thick player and then you take him and I'm like, damn, I gotta think about somebody else. But that's how it really goes in the draft.
So at 20, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Clearly, Mitch Trubisky's there. I think they would have liked one of these quarterbacks to fall. The question is, do they reach for one of the two guys left, or do they address another position? Do they take a defensive back, maybe a wide receiver now that Juju Smith-Schuster's gone? I think they're gonna stay here. I think they're gonna take a quarterback. They're gonna force this pick. I'm gonna give them Sam Howell. Throw another curveball, the quarterback out of North Carolina, to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Sam Howell. Not Corral, huh? Wow. Okay.
Personally, I like Corral better, but I think, if we're trying to project into the systems, I think the system they have there in Pittsburgh, clearly they have Najee Harris. They're going to turn around. They're going to try to run the ball. Yeah. I think it's a better fit for Howell.
Yeah, the Patriots here, a lot of different ways. It's kind of scheme with the Patriots. I think the guy who, you know what, they just lost J.C. Jackson. They cannot draft a wide receiver to save their life, so I'm not going to give him a wide receiver because he'll turn out to be a bust. I'm going to go Trent McDuffie here from Washington. He plays like a Patriot. I think he'll be a Patriot.
He's their kind of guy. He can play all over the field, inside, outside. I mean, if you probably want to play safety, you could probably do that. He seems like a Patriot. 22 is the Green Bay Packers. Clearly, this is falling exactly how they
I
wanted.
mean, this has to be.
Here.
Oh God,
this has to be Garrett. This is going to be Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Personally, I prefer Olave, but I think they take Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver out of Ohio State.
And you gotta like that, the fact that both of those guys can played in cold weather too, so that's good for them. The Cardinals here, I don't know with the Cardinals, man. They did lose Christian Kirk. They do have Hopkins, but I think they're gonna they'll probably roll with a receiver here. And Chris Olave is sitting right here, so I think they're gonna roll with Chris Olave.
Is Kyler Murray going to be there? That's the question we need to answer. But we'll save that for another podcast.
Yeah. Who knows if he's going to be there? That's crazy.
24 with the Cowboys. Clearly, some wide receivers are still here. They lost Amari Cooper. They could use help along the offensive line. They could use help in the defensive backfield. Just kind of looking at my board, who's out here. I'm gonna force this one a little bit. Jerry Jones is an Arkansas guy. I think, maybe Treylon Burks, the wide receiver here, get another explosive receiver outside to help Dak Prescott would be an option. But I think they're going to play it safe here. I think they go interior offensive line. I'm going to give them Zion Johnson from Boston College. Beef up that offensive line, protect Dak Prescott, and run the football with Zeke Elliott.
We have the Buffalo Bills trying to get that new stadium, all that stuff like that. They were close last year to winning the whole thing. It's crazy to say that, but they were close to winning the whole thing. So they beat the Chiefs. They might have won the whole thing. Let's just go out here and go with I go with Daxton Hill here. Get some more safety help back there for Sean McDermott's defense.
Yeah, he's a good player. Tennessee at 26. I kind of, part of me wants to force a quarterback here. How much longer is Ryan Tannehill going to be around? I don't know his contract situation off the top of my head. This is a win now team. I'd like to see them invest in that position. I don't think they will. I'm going to give them Tyler Lindenbaum, the center from Iowa, who's a really good player, and just add to that offensive line and continue to run the football and protect the quarterbacks. Let's invest in the offensive line at Tennessee.
Let's see here. So they brought back everybody in Tampa. So anything they do is going to be just kind of gravy as far as that goes. Defensive head coach. They got some pieces on that defensive line are getting a little bit longer in the tooth. So let's roll. And I'm going to roll with George Karlaftis from Purdue. Give him some more pass rush there. And I'll just say one thing. What's shaping up down the road here for the Chiefs is going to be interesting. Because go ahead.
Yeah, they're still wide receivers here.
I know.
Green Bay. We gave them Garrett Wilson with the first pick. So now they're back on the clock. I think they could use an edge rusher. I don't see one. You just took Carr the pick before. They could use an offensive lineman. My initial over here, I had 38, 40 names on here. I don't see another one I like here at 28. I don't see the value. I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball. I'm just going to go best player available. I'm going to give them the Kobe Dean from Georgia and just add another defensive playmaker to that team.
Kobe Dean, I got to find him. Dean. Good. Excellent player there. Like I said, this is a good draft, not a great draft, but I do like that pick there. So the Chiefs, and boy, I wish I could pick like somebody in the 8th round to be funny and pick for the Chiefs, but I think I'm gonna go with
punter.
I'm a fan of a punter. Yeah, no, seriously. Shane Leckler. I'm gonna roll with Jahan Dotson. I think they're gonna try to if they can't trade up in this draft, I think they're gonna go ahead and do that. Get a speed guy here. They're not going to roll out with just, McCole Hartman, who had plenty of opportunities to kind of solidify himself, but has not solidified himself as a top receiver.
Yeah, now we go back. Obviously the Chiefs have back-to-back picks here. You gave him a wide receiver. I don't see, the edge rushers. Maybe Travis Jones intrigues me a little bit here. I think it's a little bit early for him. They just lost the Honey Badger. I'm going to give them Jalen Petrie, the versatile defensive back out of Baylor that can play in the slot, can play some safety. He's a very good player, and I think he kind of helps fill as kind of that third safety slot guy early in his career. Obviously, they have some other safeties on that roster, but I like him as a football player. I don't want to see the Chiefs take this guy because I like him a lot, but I think he gives them great value here.
Okay, so I think that the Chiefs are done. And now we're talking about the AFC champion. AFC champions here with the Bengals. Go a lot of different ways. Unless you could force a corner here. I don't think I might have to force a corner here. I'm going to go safety. I'm going to go Lewis Kine here. Going to the Chiefs. I'm going to the Bengals here. And then Dan Campbell. You started with Dan Campbell?
Fighting kneecaps. We gave them Aiden Hutchinson. So now, Matt Corral, he's sitting right here at 32. Do they want the extra year of control here?
Yeah, they got to do it. I like that pick there, though.
I'm going to steer away from it. I think they're going to surprise some people. I'm going to go with another guy who I think is moving up boards. I'm going to go to the wide receiver position. I'm going to give them Sky Moore from Central Michigan, another Michigan guy staying home with Aiden Hutchinson. Give him some speed on that offensive vertical threat. Matt Corral's awfully tempting here, and they may take him, but for this podcast, let's throw some curveballs, and I'm going to give them Sky Moore.
Sky Moore, and it's always been a battle between Sky Moore and Christian Watson, right? So we have that there. That's pretty much it. So we'll top to bottom. You can see the draft here on your screen if you're on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast on obviously, click over to YouTube and we can kind of go through it. But I think, it was.
The comments should be fun on this one.
Comments. excuse me. The comments should be fun on that one. We're going to tweet that out so everybody can see it as well too. So it was fun to do that. I was tempted to go. I think for the 30th, I was tempted to go 2 wide receivers back to back for the Chiefs. I was tempted to go Dotson and Christian and the kid Christian Watson. Was it Christian Watson? His name? His name?
Yeah, he's still there.
He's still there. So I was thinking about doing that, but I mean, I think they have to be a different kind of team if they're not going to have Tyreek Hill. I mean, they're not going to have that. So you got to see that as well too. So.
And for full disclosure, I started with 38 names here. The guys that I still had left, I could see Travis Jones sneaking in here. I could easily given him to the Chiefs and put him next to Chris Jones. Matt Corral clearly was another guy I considered it. Christian Watson, Traylon Burks, 2 more guys. And then kind of the other guys I kind of liked in the first round, like I see going Andrew Booth Jr., the corner. We only had 3 corners going. I think there's going to be more than that. Just that's how it worked out when we did it this time. And then I really like Khair Alim.
Yeah, I did too.
Out of Florida. He's a big, long guy that can run. So as teams are loading up on these wide receivers, we had a run of the offensive line early, but I think some of these DBs are going to get drafted here, and we'll see. Matt Corral, clearly to me, 32. If he's there, I could see the Lions clearly turning that card in. I just wanted to give them some speed on the outside here. I like Corral for me. He's the 3rd quarterback in the draft. I just didn't like him for the teams when I came up and I gave picks to.
It's funny because we actually, if you look at, I think somewhere in the league, I didn't look at the salary cap, but somewhere in the league they said that the Lions have one of the most expensive offenses in the league.
Yeah, I mean the offensive line, they've invested some money there.
Yeah,
clearly Goff is a lot of that.
Yeah. So they got to figure it out. I mean, they got to figure. Listen, that's the guy they wanted. So, we'll see how long. How many years does he have on that contract?
I think he's got 1 or 2 left. But let's be honest, like Detroit's not going to win any more games this year. Like what they're going to finish as one of the bottom 5 or 6 teams in a draft next year that has better quarterbacks. So like, do you want to plant your flag on Matt Corral, or do you want to stay in the sweepstakes? Knowing Goff might be coming off the books, and you have Bryce Young, you had C.J. Stroud, you have these guys staring at you for next year. Yeah. I think I'm going to roll the dice and have a shot at those guys.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. All right. Any other Raider-esque or NFL tidbits you're gonna go and roll with before we head out? I mean, it kind of went. The draft kind of went faster than I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah, I think, I wasn't on your podcast about the Derek Carr extension. I think it's a great move for both teams. I think it gives the Raiders the ability to keep him around for another 3+ years if they want to. Obviously, Derek gave them flexibility without requesting the large signing bonus. I think both sides are happy with it. And Derek obviously took a deal that allows the Raiders to build around him and put a win around him. And he's at a point in his career, we're entering year 9, where it's not about making the playoffs anymore. And now it's about winning a championship and making a run. And now with Devontae Adams on the roster. And remember, the Raiders, June 2nd is going to roll around. They're going to have an extra $20 million in cap room. There's still a lot of good players on the free agent market that they can add to this roster. So kudos to Derek Carr for allowing the Raiders to do that. And then all the sides coming together and having a contract that gives the team the flexibility they need. So it's going in the right direction. So far, the new regime with Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, they've come in and they've accomplished a lot in a short amount of time. So we'll see if the results, at the end of the day, they have to win on the field.
Yeah.
But I think it's all going in the right direction.
They really, like, they were prepared for this moment, it seems like. I mean, because it's just like boom, boom, boom. These moves came after a slow first day. They just knew all the pieces they wanted. They end up getting them, and Stephon Gilmore goes to the Colts. Doesn't come to the Raiders. I guess Honey Badger's still out there, so Raiders favorite fans are kind of still hoping that he comes to the silver and black, which is still a possibility. And I just think for the Raiders here, it's just Carr was kind of true to his word, and I think he does want to win badly. I think he wants to win desperately, and he, when he is under center or in the shotgun, Waller, Renfro, Adams. I mean, it should be a top 5 offense without any question. I mean, and I was talking to a couple guys the other day, and I just walking around, who somebody saw me in a Raiders shirt, and I was like, yo, Josh Jacobs must be like the box is going to be light. I mean, you can't play heavy box when they have those 3 receivers on the field.
Definitely. It's going to open up the offense. And I think they're not done tinkering. I could see another tight end coming in. I think I'm interested to see what the offense is going to look like. What is Josh McDaniels going to do? What position? Is he going to move these guys around? Are we going to see Adams in the slot? Are we going to see Waller inline or more outside? Are we going to see Waller outside with Adams? It's going to be really interesting to see the different packages they put together. And that podcast we recorded after day 1 of free agency that'll never see the day of light. We
Yes,
but that'll go down and leave that one in the vault.
Yeah, that's funny.
But
that's
no,
funny.
it's kind of interesting. The draft is a week away, and I'm really excited about it. Having Devontae Adams is great. I've kind of lost a little interest in the first and second round of the draft. I'll still watch it, but I'm not heavily invested in it like I am in years past. This reminds me of kind of like the old Allen Davis days where they didn't have first round picks. They traded for Richard Seymour. Then you had the Carson Palmer trade, and they seem to just bring in veterans towards the end. But we'll see. I'm excited for the upcoming season. The schedule release is right around the corner. I've got the New Orleans game scheduled, circled. Hopefully that game is early. I'd like to make a trip to New Orleans and see the Raiders on the road.
Anytime you can. I did hear something about New Orleans, though.
Never been there.
Have you ever been to the Superdome?
No, I mean, I've flown in and out of New Orleans, but I've never actually been to a football game.
So the guys on the radio who are saying when you go to that game, no matter what the weather is outside, bring a big jacket to the game because it is the AC that's in that building makes it almost 50 degrees. Like it's unbelievably cold. Unbelievably cold. So I thought it was interesting information about that. I was like, That would be. I mean, the last time the Raiders were there, was that really the last time the Raiders were there? Was the Crabtree back shoulder?
Jack Del Rio go for 2. Yep.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's when I love Jack Del Rio. That was great. I thought it was a new Jack Del Rio. Next thing you know, he's firing his offense.
We saw the memes of him walking around with the wheelbarrow.
Yes, exactly. Next week. So next week, hopefully we get on before the draft. What I was thinking about doing is having that same draft, mock draft thing play, and then we'll get to the Raiders, and then we'll see we'll see who we like for the Raiders in those spots there, because the Raiders don't pick till pick the third round, but we can see maybe they'll trade into the second round if they like a guy. I know people like the corner out of UT with
San Antonio,
UTSA. So people talking about him a lot. Wooten, I guess whatever his name is. So we'll see. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes, but. Good talking to you again. I know you are a busy man these days. You're all over the place. No doubt. So, all right, take care.
To get 5 hours of sleep and back at it tomorrow.
That's right. We probably got games tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. All right, Raider Nation. Thank you for joining us here on the Put on Waivers media group which is USC football and Las Vegas Raiders football as well. It's a long night, long day. I got a 2-year-old. What can I say? All right, later.
Take care.
Yeah.